So you've been thinking about selling on Mercari, but you don't know if it's worth your time. It's really easy to waste your time on the wrong platform because there are literally dozens, maybe hundreds of platforms to sell online, and I don't want that to happen to you. So today I'm going to talk about whether Mercari is better than eBay for sellers. The truth is, when it comes to Mercari versus eBay, one of these platforms brings in about half my sales and one of them brings in less than 10% of my sales. And I have a feeling that you can probably guess which is which. While a lot of people will say that Mercari is easier and eBay is better for sales, what's really true in 2025? I've sold on both for years and I want to give you the truth based on my own experience. So is Mercari better than eBay in 2025? The short answer is no. And I guess you could click out here if you want to, but if you want some more information about why and what you can do if you really do want to try selling on Mercari, what my recommendations are as someone who has sold on there for years, then keep watching because I'm going to break it all down for you. So a little bit about my experience. I have been selling on eBay and Mercari for years. I've been selling on eBay for much longer, I think even before Mercari existed. I cross-post my items with a tool called Vendoo, which I will link to down below, and I list them on eBay and Poshmark, and I used to sell on Mercari as well using Vendoo. It was just an easy way to get my items in front of more buyers. That way there's a higher chance of those items selling, right? The thing is that when I was selling the same items on 3 different platforms, Mercari was responsible for less than 10% of my sales, probably closer to 5% in most cases, which meant just a couple of sales a month. And if I'm being honest, I follow a lot of resellers and I cannot think of one reseller who does really well on Mercari or is primarily a Mercari reseller. So that kind of gives you some information on whether it's a good platform to sell on only. I would not recommend that. I will give you some recommendations later in the video, but as far as my experience goes, eBay is really obviously the winner when it comes to eBay versus Mercari. And that doesn't mean that Mercari is bad. It's just not the platform you want to rely on to build your business on. That's actually a big reason why I created a course called the Reseller Roadmap a few years back, because I wanted to help other resellers build a consistent income from reselling. And one of the ways to do that is through cross-posting. I'll drop the link below where you can read all about it, as well as a discount code below if you want to check that out. Now let's quickly go over who shops on each platform. I don't have statistical proof of this or anything, but I think that the people that shop on Mercari versus people who sell on eBay are a little bit different. So to me, Mercari is more of a platform that you browse on, and you make more just like casual purchases on, if that makes sense. They might be younger because it is a younger platform, but there are people of all ages and all types on Mercari and on eBay. eBay might be maybe a slightly older crowd just because a lot of us are used to buying on eBay, but I do think the search features on eBay are a lot better. So people who are looking for specific items might end up on eBay versus Mercari. So to me, Mercari is more of like a casual browse and shop such situation, and eBay is more a search and kind of buy something that you're looking for type of situation. Again, I don't have proof of this, but this is just my reading as someone who shops and sells on both platforms. And even comparing the types of items that I'm selling on both platforms, it's not very obvious that younger or older or different types of brands or styles are selling on either one. It's kind of even across the board. So those are just my observations personally that I wanted to put in there real quick. So now let's talk about something that's really important, which is fees and getting paid. These are two big things when it comes to selling on eBay versus Mercari. All right, so I have my paper here, so I know the fees, but sometimes I misspeak and I just want to be able to look at it. So on Mercari right now, there is a 10% selling fee. There are no listing fees on Mercari. You can list like 1,000 items and you will never have a fee until you actually sell an item. As far as eBay goes, the final value fee, which is the fee that you pay on the items that you sell, generally is about 12 to 15%, and it's really complicated because it's based on different categories and how much you're selling the item for. And there are just so many different categories of fees. But in general, you can expect to pay 12 to 15% of the item's sale price plus shipping. So like the total sale price. As far as listing, you get 250 free listings per month. Most accounts get this. And then if you subscribe and open like an eBay store, you can get more free listings per month. After that, it's 30 cents per item. One thing that's pretty different about selling on eBay and Mercari is when it comes to offers. On eBay, if you accept an offer or send an offer to a buyer, they can accept it or you can accept it, and then the payment is not automatically processed. So sometimes those go unpaid and you have to relist the item. On Mercari, this doesn't happen because the payment is processed immediately, and you will see if it fails, and then the item stays up and the order just simply didn't go through. So that is a big bonus to Mercari, is getting immediate payment for any offers that are sent out. And then when it comes to actually getting paid, both of them require you to just provide your banking information so that you can get paid. It's pretty simple once you get it set up. On eBay, you can decide when you want it to automatically deposit. You might be able to do manual payments as well, but I have mine depositing every week. And then on Mercari, you just manually decide when you want to get paid, and you could just ask to cash out. All right, now let's talk about shipping and returns. These are pretty different as well. Mercari is a little bit easier, but there are still a lot of different options. So there's like the prepaid labels through Mercari. You just weigh the item and put that in, and then it will give you options, and you will select one of the options, whether it's USPS, UPS, FedEx, whatever. And then that is the buyer's only option when they go ahead and purchase that item. You can also do where you get the shipping yourself. If you use a website like Pirate Ship, you can just price the item and it will give the buyer free shipping, and then it's up to you to ship the item on your own dime. And then when you do that, you enter the tracking information into Mercari so that they know it's been shipped. And then there's what's called Mercari Local, which most people don't use, where I guess they pick it up via Uber or DoorDash delivery, and then they drop it off at a local buyer, but I don't think this is a very popular shipping option. On eBay, you have a lot more control over the services and the carriers that you use, but it is a little bit more complicated. But you can also offer different shipping rates. So if someone needs something really fast and is willing to pay a lot more, you can offer that to them and they can choose which one works for them. And then as far as returns go, Mercari gives the buyer 3 days to let Mercari know if something didn't show up in the way they expected. So if they were described wrong, if it's described wrong, it was damaged, or anything like that, they can tell Mercari in those 3 days before they accept the package or the order. And if they don't, then that's closed. So no returns. As far as returning for changing your mind, that's not allowed. So it's really only if something is not as described. On eBay, you can set up a return policy. I personally do have a return policy. Some people don't take returns at all, but just like with Mercari, if anything has arrived not as described, they can open a case, and that really dings you on eBay. So I prefer to have a return policy of some sort so that people can return the item. I make sure that they pay shipping back to me if they've changed their mind. And then that way I get less item not as described cases, which can really impact your account on eBay. So now you have kind of the basics, but here is what I would recommend. First, let me say again that no, Mercari is not better than eBay. I have not found one reseller that thinks so. The volume of sales simply isn't there. It's just not as big of a platform. So it is not worth it to me as a reseller to sell on Mercari. So if you're just listing things here and there, and you're okay with just making a couple sales a month casually, then Mercari might be a good platform for you. If you are a more serious reseller, I would recommend selling on Mercari in addition to eBay. eBay is more likely, like I can't guarantee this, but I can almost guarantee that eBay is going to bring you more sales than Mercari ever will. If you have a ton of success with Mercari and it outperforms eBay for you, I would love to hear from you. Go ahead and comment down below, because I just haven't met anybody that feels that way. So basically my recommendation is if you are a serious reseller and you want to make good money reselling and sell more than just a couple things a month, I would sell on eBay. And if you really want to sell on Mercari, you can sell on Mercari as well by cross-posting your items. Using a tool like Vendoo makes it a lot easier, but you can also do that manually. So basically to recap, Mercari is simpler, but it's not going to bring you as many sales, so I don't recommend it over eBay. If you've been considering selling on Mercari, hopefully this video has kind of given you some information. I know I was a little brutally honest, but I don't want to lead anybody astray by saying Mercari is like this great platform. I have not found a lot of success from it. In fact, even though Vendoo makes cross-posting easy, I just stopped cross-posting to Mercari just because it was one less platform to check, because I was only making like less than 5 sales a month on it. So it just made my life easier to just ditch that platform. In the future, I may add it again, but as of right now, I'm only selling on eBay and Poshmark. Those work really well for me, and I don't think I need those extra couple of sales a month from Mercari with the work that goes into it. If you're a newer reseller and you want more of like a step-by-step guide, go ahead and check out my course, The Reseller Roadmap. I literally created this course because people would ask me lots of questions and it's really hard to personally help every single person. So that's why I created the course, and I've had hundreds of students who have gone through it. It's super beginner friendly and breaks everything down step by step as far as reselling goes and creating a consistent income. So if you click the link below and use the coupon code below, you can get a little bit of a discount. So let me know in the comments, do you prefer Mercari or do you prefer eBay? I'm really interested to see if there's anybody out there that really prefers Mercari and feels like it's a super successful platform for them, because I just have not come across it. So make sure you comment below and I want to hear all about it.